Hello, everyone. I was having a conversation with my oldest son, and, it just made me think about, what he was saying and some of the things that I've seen online. And, he's saving himself for marriage. And, we have these, long talks. He's in college and all that good stuff. And, so we talk a lot about life and just, different things. And, he's asked me the question of, what if when he finds someone, what if she's not saving herself for marriage? What if she's not a virgin? And, you know, saving yourself for marriage is a personal choice. It's always worth it. I've seen people online post videos about how they're, 35-year-old virgins, or, they're in their 20s saving themselves for marriage. And, saving yourself is always a good idea. Always. I would never discourage or, discourage anyone from not doing it God's way. And for a lot of people, that is their reason. They're Christians and they believe in doing things God's way. And there's nothing wrong with that. My only fear, and I've told my son this, is that, the older you become, the smaller the pool gets, you know, in general, for what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking to date someone that doesn't have children, if you're looking to date someone who hasn't been married and things like that, the older you become, the more life experiences people in your same age bracket have, as well as yourself, because everyone's living life, people get around, people are moving and shaking and things like that. So, it's kind of a slippery slope, you know, it's, it's just one of those things where the longer you wait, then the more set in your ways you become. And it's just natural, when as we age, we become more and more set in our ways. And some people, that are saved Christians, kind of have a air of, you know kind of superiority about themselves. At least that's how I take it sometimes. It's like, I'm not saying that they think that they're perfect, but it kind of comes across as if, well, hey, I'm saved, I'm a Christian, I'm doing it God's way, I'm doing it the right way. And, it's really hard for me to find other saved Christians who are doing things the right way. And that's true. But, they kind of come across as a little bit just kind of like non-flexible, and it has to be, I have to find someone that's on my path. And, that was fine 50, 60, 70 years ago, where it was not uncommon for people to save themselves for marriage. A lot of people were doing it, but also people were um, getting married at younger ages. People were getting married earlier. People were getting married right out of high school, 18, 19, 20 years old, 21, getting married and starting families. And these days, you have people who are getting married later in life or opting to not marry at all. And that's fine, because marriage is a personal choice. But, I've tried to tell him that, well, I didn't try to tell him. I did tell him that, you just have to look at a person's character. You just have to be realistic. If you're 25 and still a virgin, then the likelihood of you finding someone else that's around that age and a virgin is small. And then it's the compatibility thing. It's whether you two align, whether you two get along, whether you two match. That's a whole nother thing. It's hard enough to align with someone that um, doesn't, who's not saving themselves. It's hard enough for people to find people that they're compatible with, So, but I still encourage him to save himself, because you know, he feels in his heart that it's right. And so I would never want to discourage that, or anyone else that is kind of feeling discouraged about not being able to find that person. What I would say to them is the same thing that I would say to my son. You're going to have to, as you get older, you're going to have to be realistic. It's a numbers game. There's more people who are not doing it God's way versus people who are, and you just have to take all those things into consideration, but still don't let it deter you from getting out there. One thing I've noticed with some people's videos that I've watched who are saving themselves, they're not really getting out there a whole lot. It seems like they almost expect for their perfect person to just fall in their lap or knock on their door. It's like, you have to go out. You're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to be open and going to different places. If I understand, if you're, a saved Christian, that you don't want to go into secular environments like clubs and bars and things like that. There's plenty of other places to meet people and not online through apps. You just have to be flexible, and you have to give people grace, and you have to understand that we're all just people, and we're all here figuring it out, living life and having experiences, and that no one's perfect, and that you're not perfect either, just because you're a 28-year-old virgin or 32-year-old virgin. You're saving yourself, that you're not perfect either. And so I think that will help people to just have a better, more of a positive attitude about it. Have your non-negotiables, have your standards, have your boundaries, know what it is that you want. And you know if you could find someone that has 70 to 80%, I guess it's the 80-20 rule or whatever. If you can find someone that has 70 to 80% of what you're looking for, you may want to snatch them up, especially if, that's really what you want. You want to find your partner, you want to find your person, and start a family. The older you become, you're going to have to be, flexible. You're going to have to be understanding. You're going to have some compassion and things like that, and I understand that there's so many people out here that are so not on that wave. They're so not saving themselves. They've already have, you know, had sex, and it's like, well, hey, I've already done it, so why am I saving myself? Why am I practicing abstinence? But that type of person is maybe, you know not your person. But saving yourself protects you from STDs. It protects you from unplanned pregnancies. It protects you from, what they say these days is soul ties. you know all this swapping of energies, spiritual energies. It keeps your baggage down, by not becoming intertwined with all these different people. It's always worth doing. you know it's hard. It takes a lot of discipline. I commend people who are doing it, and keep going, keep going, but understand that it's going to take a little bit more from you to find that special person than you just doing it God's way. Because this society, the way it's set up, the world is set up, the way everything is really set up, it's not set up in alignment with God's way. It's just not. And if you don't start getting your getting yourself out there, putting yourself out there, and being malleable a bit, just being more flexible a little, kind of loosen up a little bit, you'll be a virgin forever if you're waiting for, that special unicorn. Because most likely, a person could be a unicorn, but they're gonna come with some stuff with them, just like you come with some stuff from you. So it's just a matter of just being understanding of that and just going with it. But save yourself. For those of you that are still virgins, don't get discouraged. Keep at it, keep going, but be relatable. You have to remember to be likable, be approachable, and just be willing to be flexible and open and meeting new people, and you'll be just fine.